Hello, social media friends. This is Jeremy Rowland, and it is July the 25th, 2026. And this is Driveway with Jeremy, where I sit in my $25 dollar store chair in the driveway of my home, and I talk to you about sports and what it teaches us about life. And if you've noticed, that's Herman above my head there. He's been there for like the last 2 or 3 days. He just moves around on the front of my house. I'm not going to disturb him because he looks like one of them creatures that come out of an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. And I mean, he's a lot bigger than that camera's telling you it is. But anyway, today, if you're a Chicago Bears fan, is a very important day. Today is Walter Payton's birthday. He's born on this day in 1953 in Columbia, Mississippi. And he grew up to be, in my personal opinion, the greatest running back of all time in the NFL. Now, that is highly debatable. And there's a lot of points to it being debatable. Because if you Google or research the greatest NFL running backs of all time, you're usually going to get the top 4 names are always going to be the same. It's going to be Jim Brown, Walter Payton, Barry Sanders, and Emmitt Smith. Now, if you break it down to just straight statistics, which is tough for me. It's tough for me because I feel like Walter Payton was the greatest running back of all time because of the era that he played in, but then you could also say the same thing about Jim Brown. Jim Brown was a beast. I mean, he was a beast of a running back. And I'm going to tie all this in on what it teaches us about life here in just a second. Jim Brown didn't have as many yards, but that was a tough era to play in. Walter Payton had more yards than Jim Brown. Different era. My feeling, see, you can debate it. Is Walter Payton's era the toughest era? But Emmitt Smith played during that time too. So it's how, and Barry Sanders, you could say, would have more touchdowns than Emmitt and would have more yards than Emmitt if he didn't quit playing early. And you can also argue that Barry Sanders played on crappy teams. He averaged more yards per carry, but he played on crappy teams. Walter Payton played on crappy teams and a good team. Jim Brown played on crappy teams and good teams. Emmitt Smith, though, you give the nod to, who has the most touchdowns and the most yards, played on good teams because of the 90s. So I looked it up just to refresh my memory, and I just want to share this real quick because we try to keep Driveway with Jeremy under 5 minutes. Jim Brown had 12,312 yards and 106 touchdowns. Walter Payton had 16,726 yards and 110 touchdowns. Barry Sanders with the Detroit Lions, keep in mind he didn't play as long, 15,269 yards, 99 touchdowns. Emmitt Smith, 18,355 yards and 164 touchdowns. So, if you're a Dallas Cowboys fan, you're going to say that Emmitt Smith's the greatest running back of all time. Valid point. Me as a Bears fan, I'm going to say that Walter Payton is. It's a forever debate that I love so much about sports. But there's also so many other honorable mentions that you can say. I mean, people are going to get mad. O.J. Smith. How about Tony Dorsett? I mean, there's so many great running backs throughout the years. But if you made me sit down today and say, who is the greatest running back of all time, I'm going to give it to Walter Payton every time. Not only because of his agility, his toughness, his yards per carry, the weather and city that he played in. I mean, he played on natural grass. Emmitt Smith played on turf most of the time. But if you just want to give it to pure heart and meanness, you got to give it to Jim Brown. So I'm interested in what you think, if you're a football fan, on who is the greatest NFL running back of all time and why. And I share this video now to my personal website, jeremyrowland.me. you can comment on there as well, because this video is shared across my personal social media platforms. Now, what does this teach us about life? To me, what it teaches us about life is that if you commit to your craft, whatever that may be, and you sacrifice and you take the cuts and the wounds and you doctor them and you heal them up, and you want to be the greatest of your craft, you have to have goals. Let me explain why. Emmitt Smith had a goal that he wanted to be the all-time touchdown and rushing leader in the NFL. Did he play a couple extra years too long? Probably so. When he went to the Arizona Cardinals, I think it kind of diminished his aura a little bit. Same thing with Jordan going to the Wizards. I can go on and on and on. But the point is, if you want to go down in your record book of life, of being the greatest, don't forget what I said yesterday. Find that balance, because you can be the greatest of your craft, but don't give up other things that are important to you internally and spiritually. I know I'm going a little long today, but what I mean is, let me be the one to tell you, who's been in my craft for over 20 years, that I have sacrificed things in my past that I wish that I hadn't, because I had such a burning passion to be the number one and best in my craft. I missed things that I wish that I hadn't missed. And I did things to push me along and try to get ahead of the competition, but I lost at other things. Does that make sense? We're on this earth for a certain period of time, and it grows shorter and shorter by every second that goes by. Be sure that you find that balance. I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of your day. It's hot, it's muggy, there's no sun though. It's supposed to get a little storms, but it's supposed to get stupid hot today, and I love it. I'll see y'all tomorrow for another Driveway with Jeremy, and we'll see if he is still there tomorrow.